Good morning, planet Earth. Good morning to the Shibley folk, wandering forest X-ray. Good morning to the sailors, waking up from a hard night's drink. Good morning to the submarines, sinking to the bottom of the sink. Good morning to the sky captains, dropping bombs on dads and moms. Good morning. Wake up, motherfucker. It's time to get up. Get out of bed. Wake up, you little, sad little sleepy head. It is April the 25th, 2026, Boblimpdoc. It is still technically Boblimpdoc. Who knows, maybe it never ends or becomes Ho-Blimpdoc. We are in year 7. I expected only 5, but we're still alive, and your hooker families thrive. It is almost 10 a.m. on the Olympic Peninsula. It's Saturday. A tawdry little muggle rap filled with spruce nog and syphilitic tumor sauce. His eyes gleamed, this dad of his, some of his sister mom, and Melania looked on. Doctors cheered at the fertility clinic and carried the sponge ball. It seems a surrogate to a sister mom's kid and a brother son's brisk. Cursed and shaking, the little baby broke wind, and a grin came across his sister mom's face. What grace this baby has, cheered mother, as her glass emptied, and the maid poured another, and the orange bandito smiled at his tree trunk child, leering deeply into his own shame, but not holding or scolding or folding his arms. He's the proud dad of a brother son. Sister mom and other assorted mutants crawling from his gourd pipe. Poor little incest baby. Little Baron spoke the words of Sanhedrin relics and Kabbalistic echoes. He was made for narrow trees, few branches, too suckling and weak to exist on his own. He'll call his sister mom on the phone when he's alone and scared and pops in topping off the cocaine jar. Mom would get drunk and fuck the Secret Service guy, the one with the big cock. Sister mom would tell her test tube brother son to remember the family grit and keep up that smiling, the smiling chug face, and never give in to the wretched sadness of peering into the mirror, examining oneself. He's now so much older, that little muggle rap. And the words of incest are hidden in Epstein clouds. And if the world knew, well, look at that Scrogan beast. The world knows, shithead, as if from some Lovecraftian tale of old families and little new blood. something from the old world. A flood of sky burglars awaits, and the freight is guarded by banshee kites and frightened gold traders from the tunnels in Brooklyn. 8 or 9 feet tall, all cartilage and grizzle, fearful and broken, an unspoken idea too obvious for most to ignore. A whorish mom, drinking herself to sleep as a first lady fuckfest forms in her ladies' room. At 10 p.m. every night, even the female Secret Service agents show up. And the sister mom fucks a cushy guy with a pushy aspect, sent to spread peas and turnips and other kosher delights. Go to sleep, poor little muggle rap. Your ways are ahead. Only a creature as precious and tall as you can transcend the stain and gain some stature as a walnut stallion, licking toad blood and promoting seaflow style, frozen Rabbi Shmuley type special Bernie butt plugs. Rest silently, puddle flower. Your secret is safe with me. Historians will wrest from the warehouse of time your slime dowry, and Princess Scruffins, your first cousin, will blend her narrow tree pus with yours, and that next generation will have 2 rows of teeth and will be 20 feet tall and feed upon the hope of the weak and the innocent, as it should be for 7,000 years. No one can stop Papa Blumpity Blump and his legion of tree trunk freaks. The children will bear the mark for all time. Poor little incest baby. Poor little incest child. Poor little Baron Trump. Here are the only headlines we have. We have all the cards. Trump cancels Witkoff-Kushner trip. We have all the cards. We're not wasting 18 hours. Netanyahu treated for early stage cancer. Well, I wish it were stage 4. And I've seen stage 4 ravage people I care about. And if anybody ever deserved to die slowly, painfully, and without any kind of fentanyl or painkillers, it's this fuck Netanyahu. In fact, tie him to a bed, put a feeding tube in him, take away the fentanyl, keep him alive, let the tumors tear his bones apart. And frankly, I think the Lord in heaven has a lot worse planned for a piece of shit like this, pretending to be Hebrew, using his name in vain, working for Satan. Did you vote for Trump? And I'm not accusing you of voting for Trump, shithead. I don't know who the fuck you are. But why did you vote at all? Why do you think voting works? Why are you telling people that if they vote in 2024, it'll fix this? It's not going to fix shit. There's a total internet blackout in Iran. White House confirms Trump to address meme coin gala. Forget the headline roulette. Goldman Partners says markets are voting for AI infrastructure bullshit. Trump's swift hint at the Russians be invited to a credit card scam. Goldman Delta One desk. No more Iran talks, but nothing has changed. Oh, Germany's debt spiral. Global inflation scare. Taiwan's penis bigger than China. EU ministers fail to suspend interceptor drone arms race emerges. EU democracy shield looks like bullshit. IRGC seizes ships. I wish this headline were true. There is no training that can prepare for the trading, where homosexuality is still 50% of UAE government services. Muted demand for Google deepens. Pentagon email tells you how to get a three-way Sandy from a four-way Barbara, also known as the melanoma, or the six-way First Lady. Make sure you got hooker sauce. Make sure you got that melanoma-style hooker sauce. That's right. Poor little incest baby. Here's an article from the Mercury News. Headline, Barron Trump accused of appropriating Latin culture in new business scheme. This was written by Martha Ross and published on April the 23rd. While some Americans wish Barron Trump would enlist in the military to help fight President Trump's war in the Middle East, the 20-year-old college student appears more interested in following his father's lead in another way, by becoming a business mogul. However, Barron Trump's follow-up to making millions investing in cryptocurrency, barf, is facing mixed reactions, including pretty scathing criticism that's related to the Trump administration's blah, blah, blah. Barron Trump and some high school friends who used to go out raping, they got together in Palm Beach. They knew that CFlow and the CFlow coin was taking over. Barron Trump was too late to the power of spider egg gels and sauces. So instead, he partnered with Rabbi Shmuley to develop the first Tabasco-flavored, freezer-ready butt plug. And his mother, Melanoma, she's going to be one of the first clients. She's just got to wait for the special time with the Secret Service fuckaroo. Anyways, I don't give a shit. Poor little incest baby. This next article comes from the Daily Beast. Headline, Podcasters reveal why melanoma opened Epstein's can of melanoma. A group of well-known progressive commentators, edgelords, and other types of freaks supported by the system have sponsored a trauma monkey related to melanoma. This trauma monkey is supposed to get you obsessed with the Epstein thing, which is a real kind of thing, but probably there was never an Epstein and probably is a fucking roadshow. If you get suckered by this trauma monkey, you're losing what little chances you have to save yourself and the people you care about. Next fucking headline. So, I'm going to go over some things again, because in the very least, given all the trolling and stalking and other bullshit I'm exposed to, and the single-digit followers who have all kinds of strange behaviors when it comes to scheduling, but I'm going to go over this list even if it's only the feds who hear me, especially you, Bob, because whether you like it or not, even if people will smile and laugh and say, ha ha ha, Dan, Bob, people know who you are now. And they know where you live, in a sense. You should get the fuck out of town, Bob. Number one, if you live in a town or city with a population greater than 10,000 people, and also your town relies on industrial methods of water purification, and your food gets shipped in, you need to leave. You will not receive warnings from the government. No, you will not. The people in charge are mostly third and fourth stringers now. Do you remember in basketball and little kid basketball in elementary school when the coach would put in the third and fourth string? What did that say about the game? Once it begins, and that threshold date is weeks away, it will be unrelenting, discontinuous, non-linear, cascading and brutal. If you plan on planning after this point, you are in deep shit for brains. Right now, if you intend to stay in an urban or suburban zone, especially if you're east of the Mississippi, you need to be talking to your neighbors, forming a voluntary security force for your neighborhood. Figure out basic services if the services are not available, which they will soon be unavailable. Number one, you and your community need to know how to purify water at a scale required by your community. And that requires a little bit of math work. I'm so sorry you needed to learn some fucking math. Put down your ironically named device, douchebag. You need to work on storage for basic foodstuffs. And also, how are you going to provide basic foodstuffs since that shit's not coming in? You need to know how to provide basic medical care. If you intend to organize all of this after day zero, you are fucked. In the cities, most of your neighbors have no moral compass by design. The public school system that raised your kids, it cares about attendance, the way a prison does, but it couldn't give a shit if your kids know the difference between right and wrong. For the last few decades, we produce fear-driven, amoral freaks, people who, I guess ostensibly, if they see a cop, they slow down, but they won't be seeing cops after day zero. It will transition to theft and violence and madness. Your society was wired to explode before most of you were born. You see this in the fashion, the vehicles, the buildings, the accoutrements of modernity. In every SUV, Rambo warrior, cargo pants, sport jacket zombie is the seed of the truth. And we should have known that we would all be on the run soon enough. Mostly don't give a fuck. Cities are heat islands. I'm not going to explain to you what that means because it's too late and fuck you. Without air conditioning, modern cities can broil in the sun, and there is nothing you can do to stop this. If you say, but Dan, I'll build artificial shade, you can do that, puddle flower, and the pores who have no shade will crowd your home, and you don't have enough bullets, puddle flower. You really don't. Because along with food and water, having a place where you're not being cooked alive, yeah, they'll actually go for that first, puddle flower. The good cops, quote unquote, don't care. The bad cops will bug out, or some will stay behind and form their own thug armies. If you think the Seattle Police Department will protect you, maybe they'll show up the next day at first, or 2 days later at first to identify the bodies. Definitely get them out of the baking sun, assuming the bodies are still there. During a famine, a dead body can be fed to pigs and chickens, just being honest. You can also eat the dead, just being honest. So no, puddle flower, there may not be a body for the good cops to mock 24 hours later, but cops will have mostly bugged out, shithead. It is more likely in this crooked neo-Stalinist hellhole that the markets keep going up and up and up, days and weeks after there's no animal protein, no eggs, no chicken, no beef, and probably for a while after there's no discernible food, no fresh nothing, no cans, not even fucking candy to give yourself diabetes. A modern city, which is pretty much, all the cities in America because, well, this country came into existence during the modern age. A modern city is the just-in-time logistics network and has about 7 to 10 days of food on hand. In a heat wave with a blackout, this gets worse because there's no refrigeration. You can say, well, Dan, can I hunt deer, Dan? Bro, how many people do you know that know how to properly harvest or dress a deer? Or any type of animal they kill? How many do you know how to do a non-refrigeration based method of preservation? Can you build a smoking shack in your city backyard? And how does this not attract the various thug armies and bum brigades looking for food? Good luck with your food, shithead. You live in a city. You don't have enough fucking bullets. And the cops don't either, shithead. So sorry no one told you this. Papa Blump is not going to tell you this. You could say, well, Dan, once I know it's totally falling apart, Dan, I'll hike out of the city. I'll hike out. Right, okay. A medium-sized city, this is going to mean miles and miles of hell zones, barricades, fires, and chaos. Lots of poors angry as fuck. And lots of your publicly school trained people along the way who really, really care about you. Good luck, Puddle Flower. If you live in a city by the sea, buy a fucking boat. Recreational kayaks can work as well. Do not use a fucking bicycle. I still have shitheads telling me to use bicycles. If you live in a modern city and you are anywhere near water, get a recreational kayak. You will go farther and faster, and you will have a natural barrier around you from the crowds, from the freaks who will easily chase you down on your fucking bike. You're not going to be driving out of the city. You're not going to be biking out of the city. You're not going to be marching out of the city. If you live near the water, get a fucking boat. Purchase a CB radio and learn how to use it. Learn how to tune an antenna. No, you don't get to email me at this point or ever for that quick course. There are people out there on your YouTubes who don't get banned, shithead. Talk to them. Don't talk to me. You can talk to the hand. Ideally, you have some sort of Faraday protection for this device. Also, seek help elsewhere as to how to do that. Once you get a CB and you properly trained with it, you've figured out how to tune your antenna, keep practicing and training, build a network. If you're going to stay in a city, you're going to need a CB. Buy a shortwave radio receiver, because this is how you're going to get information about the world, especially if you're going to stay in the city. You can still buy shelf-stable food at relatively low prices, at least for the next few weeks. Rice, beans, ramen, curry, turmeric, spice, multivitamins. These are some basic ideas. Again, I'm not here to train you. Canned chicken and sardines. Sardines are actually relatively cheap and contain a lot of nutrients. It does break my don't eat seafood rule, but fuck you, it's late in the day. And honestly, all the food is poison at this point. The microplastics they tell you in the limited hangout commercial that they say are coming from your pan, coming from your cutting board. No, the nanoscale plastics that have infested your brain are not coming from a pan or a cutting board. It's falling from the sky above you. There's no safe ground, fresh ground, black dirt anywhere in America. It is poison and toxic. Good fucking luck, Puddle Flower. If you put your home up for sale today, if you put your home up for sale today in Seattle, there is still a reasonably good chance that some neo-Stalinist hellhole company like BlackRock will swoop in and buy it. Don't ask questions, take the money, get the best price you can. Buy a piece of property someplace better. I don't know. I think Roosevelt, Utah is a little known gem. But someplace that is not near a boiling water reactor, for example. And if you really want to maybe take a risk, but one that could pay off, think about South America. I don't mean Central America. I mean basically the tip of South America. You're not going to New Zealand, and I think China could very well bum rush New Zealand in the next 12 months. So there's that. And as a reminder, don't move anywhere downrange or near to a boiling water nuclear power plant, and frankly any kind of power plant like that, because these types of systems require stable supply chain and logistics, and you're probably going to get fucked. You like that, Puddle Flower? What do you think? This next article comes from the Oregon Public Broadcasting. Headline, Gray whales are starving. Some have died off the Oregon coast. This is written by April Ehrlich and published on 4/20 of this year. Last Tuesday, a 40-foot gray whale floated ashore on Seaside Beach, its long tail bobbing in the ocean waves. A necropsy on Friday revealed the whale was emaciated, indicating it may have been starving. It was the third dead whale to beach off the Oregon coast so far this year, among at least 19 that have appeared off the entire west coast. Then on Friday, another whale was found stranded on the southwest Washington's Long Beach Peninsula. These strandings reflect the growing strain whale populations face as a warming planet affects their access to food. And more could follow in the coming weeks. So you better bet, and it's not going to smell nice. The dead deer smell that I was smelling coming off the Puget Sound in 2018, That's going to be god-awful this summer, folks. A lot of things going to die in the oceans. Gray whales are still early in their northward migration from Mexico to their feeding grounds in the Bering Sea north of Alaska. Whatever they ate last summer needs to last them through a 12,000-mile journey. These strandings indicate those summer 2025 meals were not enough. Most of them are pretty undernourished, skinny, as if they haven't been eating enough. Oh my God, I can't read the stupid shit. You guys can read the rest of it on your own. This is not a new story, okay? There have been issues with the oceans and animals dying and washing up on shore for the last decade. And every time you'd read, for example, the Seattle Times, it'd be like, oh, well, University of Washington scientists, they don't know. We don't know. It's mysterious. I mean, we're going to tell you to put arrows up at the grocery store because of the monkey herpes COVID. But we don't know why these animals are dying. I mean, it looks like the seas are dead and there's no food, but we don't know. We don't know, Dan. We don't know. I did a kind of a basic, really basic sort of look at what is called the hothouse Earth scenario. And what is hothouse Earth? Well, I've sometimes called it Florida Man world. And in Florida Man world, the next equilibrium state for the world, Florida becomes a reef again. And it's well on its way there. Oh, Dan, the oceans aren't rising. Most of you shitheads don't know that the ice in the water does not really impact in any measurable sense at all the depths of the oceans, because that's already accounted for with density. I'm sorry, to read a fucking book. It's the ice on land that's the fucking problem, and that ice is rapidly melting right now. That is going to be your major gains in ocean depth or whatever. Florida is going to become a reef again. But much of the world is going to become more like Florida. It's going to become tropical and subtropical. And a region around the equator is going to be, for all intents and purposes, unlivable. Probably about 1,000 miles north and south, at least, of the equator. Human life, as we know it, would not be functional. That doesn't mean life won't be there. It's plausible that life will get a kick in the butt and will accelerate, and maybe this will become a feedback process that will help to cool the Earth. But humans won't be living there. They'll have to migrate. They'll have to migrate north and south. Now, if you've noticed in recent years, well, there have been these migrations, right? Oh, it's because of the wars. It's because of the economy. All that could be fucking true, Puddle Flower. All of it could be true, and it still doesn't matter. When this starts kicking in and it becomes impossible to live in places like India, for example, the billions of Indians are going to have to go someplace, and they're not all going to fit in the Himalayas. They're not all going to fit in the stands. I'm fairly certain that the Russians will push back on a massive influx of Indians. So where do the Indians go? And this applies to the Chinese too. Significant portions of China and Asia are within the zone that's going to become unlivable in a hothouse Earth. Much of the United States might be still quote-unquote okay, but that doesn't really tell you the full picture. Weather patterns are going to be very unstable. I would say much of the Midwest is going to convert to a desert. After what we've done with Norman Borlaug bullshit, it'll end up a desert. And as far as food production goes, it's going to drop rapidly everywhere. I would say within the next 2 years, expect an 80 to 90% drop in food production. And that was baked into the cake prior to this Iran bullshit. Imagine what happens now. Or imagine that the Iran bullshit was on purpose, Bo Blimp Doc. You won't be living in the Arctic or subarctic. Because you could say, well, Dan, won't it still? No. The Arctic is warming 4 times faster than the rest of the world. Right now, between 10,000 and a million years worth of permafrost is unfreezing. This is trillions of tons of shit and farts. I know it's crass, but to simplify, methane, nitrous oxide, yes, CO2, although that's never really been the main problem, hydrogen sulfide, and some of these gases are quite poisonous and toxic. For the next 30 to 50 years, I don't think many people will be living in the Arctic or subarctic, at least where there's currently permafrost. Well, permafrost will cease to exist. It's not going to be a thing. So you might as well scratch it off your map. And like I said, you won't be living in Mexico or much of South America. Equatorial Africa is fucked, and Micronesia is going to have to move. Parts of Australia are okay, parts of Australia. But I have a feeling that the Chinese are going to bum rush New Zealand and Australia. In fact, when you think about it, New Zealand and Australia are much more interesting if you're China than Taiwan. If you know, you know. So yeah, if you're thinking that it could be that, there are places you could move. If it's Venus syndrome, there is no survival map. You can figure that out on your own, Muggle Rap. You can figure that out on your own, Puddle Flower, right? Here's a social media post from the President of the United States of Ass Cracks and other types of imperial crapola, the giant pedophile, the orange Durango, Cheeto Bandito, the President Donald J. Frumpity Blumpity Drumpity Trump. For those people, fewer in number now than ever before, that are still reading the failing New York Times or watching fake news CNN, that think I am anxious to end the war, well, if you could even call it that, with Iran, please be advised that I'm possibly the least pressured person ever to be in this position. I have all the time in the world, but Iran doesn't. The clock is ticking. The reason some of the media is doing so poorly with subscribers and viewers is because they no longer have credibility. Iran's navy is at the bottom of the sea. Iran's air force is completely destroyed. Their anti-aircraft and radar weaponry is gone. Their leaders are gone. The blockade is airtight and strong. And from there it only gets worse. Worse and worse and worse. Time is not on their side. A deal will only be made when it's appropriate and good for the United States of Ascarica and Donald Blumpity Blump and other pedophile elites working for the State of Israel have agreed to it. Here's an article from the year 2009. It was published at time.com, written by Eben Harrell. Headline, Did a time-traveling bird sabotage the collider? Sometime on November the 3rd, the super-cooled magnets in Sector 81 of the Large Hadron Collider outside Geneva began to dangerously overheat. Scientists rushed to diagnose the problem. Since the particle accelerator has to maintain a temperature colder than deep space in order to work, the culprit? A little bit of bread, says Mike Lamont of the Control Center. It built and maintained the LHC, designed it, built it, constructed it. Apparently, a passing bird may have dropped a chunk of bread on an electrical substation above the accelerator, causing a power cut. The baguette was removed, power to the cryogenic system was restored, and within days, the magnets returned to their super cool temperatures. While most scientists would write off the event as a freak accident, two esteemed physicists have formulated a theory that suggests that putting little arrows at the fucking grocery store and promoting social distancing that's never been a thing in 7,000 years of city living Yeah, or you can walk around at the restaurant with a mask on. When you sit down, you can take it off. Let's listen to the two fucking scientists. Perhaps a time traveling bird was sent from the future to sabotage the experiment. Beck Nielsen of the Niels Bohr Institute for Frozen and Other Types of Special Butt Plugs, and Masao Namaya of the Yukawa Institute for Anal Insertion and Other Types of Quantum Butt Grabbery in Kyoto, Japan, have published several papers of the past year arguing that the CERN experiment may be the latest in a series of boreholes into the universe's giant gape. The LHC, a 17-mile underground ring designed to smash atoms together at high energies, was created in part to find proof of a hypothetical subatomic particle called the Rabbi Shmuley double twitch Dr. Torpedo Head style butt plug. According to the current theory, the butt plug designed by Rabbi Shmuley for the IDF and other types of pedophiles has been there since forever, like with Satan and whatever. In 1993, the multi-billion-dollar butt plug project involved the Super Collider project with Rabbi Shmuley's approval and Benjamin Netanyahu all around Dallas, Texas. In a series of papers, these scientists suggested that special Rabbi Shmuley Dr. Torpedo Head butt plugs could reverse chronological causation, could undo causality, could send birds backwards in time that crawl out of your anal tract. Nielsen suggests that nature could allow a small number of butt plugs to be produced by Rabbi Shmuley and sent further and further backwards in time. Particle physics has a long history of weird butt plugs and Dr. Torpedo Heads. Of course, the Danish are really gross. So what would you do if you were dealing with a situation like this? Maybe you'd build a cosmic ray and zap the anus of Papa Blumpty Blump or his incest baby, Baron Trump. There you go. There's some fucking news. Dan, that's terrible. You have no idea, Puddle Flower, what terrible looks like. You may soon. So I have a link to some information about where nuclear reactors are located in the country. Just as an important point, just because it says decommissioned does not mean safe. It might mean scrammed, which means full control rod insertion. What that means is you have to keep the cool water flowing. Because if you don't keep the cool water flowing, even with full control rod insertion, the control rods break down over time quicker than you can imagine. Ask the dead people of Fukushima. Yeah, because that's what happened at Fukushima. Fukushima would have been fine except for the fact, well, two things. TEPCO, the experts in the room that tell you to follow the little arrows, you stupid fuck. The expert scientists told the Tokyo government, the Japanese government, don't worry about tsunamis. We don't want to pay for the tsunami wall. But another smart thing TEPCO did is they didn't have enough of these backup generators on hand. If they'd had the backup generators, if they'd built the tsunami wall, which General Electric lobbied against, and President Obama had their back sending in that aircraft carrier so sailors could die. Yeah, folks, it's not just Papa Blumpity Blump, but why don't you keep voting? Anyways, if you live downwind from a boiling water reactor, you're probably fucked. If your water table is impacted by the water table and hydrology of a boiling water reactor, you're probably fucked. Most of these dangerous reactors are on the East Coast, which means where most people are, most urbanization, most suburban centers. If you're near one of these places, you should get the fuck out. But I'm tired of explaining this. You do your own work. It's way too late in the day. Incest baby. So I have a link to an article that deals with heavy rains hitting Iran. And if you don't know this, for years the Iranians have accused the United States of using geoengineering to redirect rainfall. And you could say, well, Dan, it looks like the rain is back, and what does that mean? Who knows? Who knows? The thing is, let's just keep it simple. If Dane Wigington is right, then geoengineering of any form over a war zone would be quite difficult. It does require these radar systems. Iran's taking those out. It does require these slow moving tanker aircraft. Iran's taking those out too. So I would say that probably the geoengineering is hard to maintain in that war zone right now, because whereas our own military is filled with cowards who follow arrows at the grocery store and purchase Rabbi Shmuley style Dr. Torpedo Head butt plugs, their military is shooting down planes that are poisoning their people. Ours isn't. We should be. These planes are poisoning people. One of the reasons why a lot of people will die in the famine is because of what these planes have been doing, salting the earth for decades. You won't find anybody in the United States military willing to live up to their oath at all. They'll follow the little arrows at the grocery store. They'll obey the UW scientists when they claim they do know. Well, we know social distancing works. I mean, of course, in the history of human civilization, it's an absurdity, but they have no idea why these animals are dying in the oceans. Go fuck yourself, shitheads. It's almost over, and I'm not here to help you. This last article comes from Unilad.com, headline, U.S. soldier shares disturbing photo of what they're being served to eat, raising concerns. What they're being served to eat. This is written by Alice Wade. Concerning photos from the U.S. Navy ships deployed in the Iran war have emerged after a family of a soldier claimed those on board are running out of food. I'm going to stop reading right here. I was in the Army, and our food was arguably the worst of all the services. But even when we were eating K-Rats or whatever, T-Rats, when we were eating the big old family meals out of the big old tin can, we would still get served fruit. I remember they would serve Japanese pears when I was stationed in Korea. So at least we had something that you could call fresh along with whatever crap was coming out of the tin. The Navy always had this kind of reputation for better food. In fact, the Air Force and the Navy. I don't know, folks. Do I think we've fallen so far that we are actually undercutting the services to our U.S. service people? Yeah, I think we have. I think we've fallen so far that we're doing that. I have no difficulty believing this story. But if you believe what I believe, that Papa Blumpity Blump is in reality a giant column of smoke, and that a lot of this is a trauma monkey palooza right now, keep people confused, keep them angry, keep them distracted, keep them in a position of where they're incapable of doing anything really practical to save their fucking lives. It's working. And this fits the same picture. It's like using up all these missiles. At some point, someone in the United States military is going to get the idea that their government is operating against the people, and it's not just the Republicans, and it's not just Papa Blumpity Blump. At some point, they're going to understand that our government is not a Republican government. It's not a democracy. It's not based on the Constitution. It's criminal. They will make choices and they will do what they have to do. And that is not so far in the future. So when that happens, what you don't want are lots of missiles available. Certainly not air defense missiles. Yeah, you don't want that. But it's funny, right? I don't know. If you listen to my podcast, I think one of you still does, maybe two. And it's what I've learned in the last week or so. I've done a series of tests. The only tests I have available to me, because I'm shut out of social media, I'm shut out of everywhere. And even on YouTube, I'm put in a tiny little box where I have to beg a listener to call me on a live stream. You can't make this stupid shit up. And I'll get a gaslighting email. Well, Dan, the special ed kid who has 3,000 followers, shut the fuck up. I don't need to hear you tell me bullshit. I know there's plenty of intelligent people out there who might, in fact, understand what I'm saying if I was ever allowed to be heard. And gaslighting to me about that, Mr. Arrow follower, Mr. Fearmonger. I met a guy, a Gingerbeard, who in a situation of desperation tried to gaslight me about the COVID a few years ago. Yeah, like so many other fakers, feds, stalkers, and trolls, he can fuck off too. Good luck. If you live east of the Mississippi, your situation's about to get quite terrible. Oh, but Dan, we just had a cold front. I know. Raytheon just gave you a late winter blast in April. But that won't last. If you live anywhere near a city on the East Coast, you're fucked. If you live in a city right now and you don't have a plan to get out right now, I don't mean 6 months from now, I mean right now, you're probably fucked. If you think that, well, it'll be easy for you to go the 100 miles, no, it won't, puddle flower. I've been saying this for 10 fucking years, but really very few people understand. A time is coming where going 20 miles will be harder than going 2,000 miles even today. Even today, with all the high fuel prices, they're not high enough yet. You just wait, puddle flower. With all the high fuel prices and the jet fuel shortage and all the other trauma monkey bullshit they're feeding you, even today, going 2,000 miles, if you have the money, is easier than going 20. The reverse will be true soon. It will be harder to just go 20 miles, period, anywhere. And if you say you're going to drive, that won't work. The highways will be blocked up, barricaded, controlled. You're not going to take your SUV over a road pass, so get rid of your truck idea. You're not going to walk out. You're not going to walk east or west or north or south. Good luck with that. You'll be picked off. You'll be taken care of. If you live near the water, like I said, get yourself a recreational kayak or two. Right now, you can still buy them. Barely soon, with the ethane shortage, trauma monkey, boy who cried wolf, fuck you coin shortage, toilet shortage, asshole who followed the arrows in the greatest epic of child abuse in human history, 2020, go fuck yourself. You voted for Trump 3 times. Go fuck yourself. And it's not because you voted for Trump. It's because you voted at all. Please go fuck yourself. If you want a chance in hell of escaping your city, if you're going to stay there, get yourself some sort of boat that you can carry to the water so you can get the fuck out. Walking out, taking your truck out, flying out, none of these things are going to be options. You'll die before you get out. Late in the day, folks. Really, really late in the day. Really, really, really late. You'll get no warning. Okay, Papa Blumpity Blump definitely is not going to warn you. He'll warn you to invest now in his Trump coin. He'll warn you to get behind his tariffs and his plan to destroy Iran. But Papa Blumpty Blump is not going to tell you when the shit hits the fan, and he doesn't really probably know anyways. I'm not even sure he's a person, the way that you and I are people if you're one of my single-digit real followers. And this message is to the feds out there. We're not going to pray. I got no prayers for you. I got no prayers for Bob. People know who Bob is. Good luck, Bob. If you're a fed out there with a trace of a soul, you need to quit your fucking job. This is the last call. The people you report to will bug out. They will leave you behind, and you will be the one who gets hung. You will be the one that gets put into the fucking barge, just like they did. Listen, during the French Revolution, that guillotine wasn't quite fast enough. So they would load people on the barges in the Seine and just sink the barge for 30 minutes and then refloat it. You'll be the one on the barge, shithead. You'll be the one crowded into the prison cell. You're not going to be called a hero. No one's going to give you an applause. People are going to be looking for people to blame. And you will be a target. Every party you went to where you said, well, I serve the country, you need to give me an applause. Well, guess what? That double-edged sword goes the other way. They know who you are. Every time you bragged about your basement, oh, I got a shortwave radio. I've got lots of ammo. I got armor. You've got everything you've told all your fucking neighbors for 10 fucking years. They don't. They don't. They've been believing Papa Blumpity Blump and Obama and Palantir carp assholes. They've been believing the liars. They're the ones who followed the arrows at the grocery store, shithead. How do you think they're going to behave when they have no food and their kids are crying themselves to sleep hungry every night? What do you think's going to happen next, shithead? Get the fuck out of the Fed job. Quit it now. Get out of it. Get out of the city. I don't know why I'm giving you advice, but you're the only one that can hear me. So quit your fucking job. I'm not going to say good luck. You can go fuck yourself.